TOYSARAMA UK, one of the hottest and fastest growing UK online retailers for all your plastic action needs, have kindly teamed up with us here to offer you a special promotional code for up to £5 discount on selected lines. Lines such as Higher Toys, McFarlane, NECA, Marvel Legends and Star Wars Black Series. All you got to do is enter the promo code of PUK2020, PAUK 2020 into the discount code section of the car and get yourself a nice little discount. Thanks to TOYSARAMA, links to their website will be in the description and the pinned comment. Now, let's get on with the video. What is going on, toy fans? Project Barber Customs here, and I'm here with Tom Green, and we are Plastic Action UK, and welcome to another episode of Tea and Figs. And this isn't your usual episode, so it's just me and Tom, and we've got some shit to get off our chest, okay? This is a ranting episode, so if it's not your cup of tea, okay, then toss it in the sink and dive off. But if it is, please leave your opinions and your comments below, whether you agree with us or you disagree with us. It doesn't matter, just it's all there, we're venting. This is our platform to vent, and we're going to leave the comments open for you to vent at the same time. If you think we're ridiculous, fine, tell us. If you agree with us, fine, tell us. This is just us letting off some steam, and we got some issues. We have some issues, not comic book issues, with some real issues, okay?
Lots of issues.
We know there's a bunch of shit going on in the world, but this is our escape. This is what's keeping us going in amongst all this crap. And it's just, when we find issues within this escapism, it's just another sucker punch that we really didn't need or want. We understand, but it's just, we got to vent. If people go to the gym, people go and punch a punching bag, people go and fucking, as wrong as it is, beat up other people and shit. And this is just our way of letting off steam. So yeah, take it away, Tom. I'll let you have the floor, mate.
Oh, I don't even know where to start now. I've got a list as long as your arm. We'll try and keep to the relevant points.
Yeah, relevant points. Like, where did it start simmering for you? The issues you're having, because it's mainly with the industry, isn't it?
In general, yeah. I think it's just kind of, it's not fun anymore. That's what I've really found lately, is collecting isn't fun.
Yeah.
When I started it all those years ago, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And now it's just, you seem to be spending half your time trying to find figures.
Yeah.
The other half of the time hoping you find them before the guy who buys 10 of them so we can put them on eBay for 3 times the price.
Yeah.
And it's just, where does it stop? Like, at some point you need to draw a line under it and say, if you're not having fun, then what's the point?
Exactly.
And it seems to be not just premium lines, even with your standard lines. Like,
this is annoying. I don't know what has happened with this year, but the scalping and this new wave of bots I don't understand it. It just feels 10 times more amplified than it ever has been. And it's like exactly how you say. It's like, if the hangover is not worth the night before, then it's time to pack it in. And it's driving us to that junction where, like you say, even just standard lines like Marvel Legends or GI Joe, stuff that should be easy to get, that should be everywhere for everyone to get, and that the only real battle is, which country does it land in first, or who gets them first. But eventually everyone will, there's no problem finding them. But even that is come under fire from all this shit now, and it's kind of sucking the fun out of it, man.
Like, you've got Snake Eyes, like GI Joe Snake Eyes. It's a new figure that a lot of people, like, it's a great figure, but they're buying them up to resell them for more. And the old, I suppose, like Toy Galaxy, the YouTube channel Toy Galaxy has a great slogan of buy one, leave one for the next collector.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like, and that doesn't happen nowadays. It's like, C3, buy them, get them on eBay for 3 times the price.
Yeah.
And it's the community side of things seems to just be vanishing.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, if you dare to bring it up, you'll get smacked down by the hardcore collectors that, I don't know if they're just blinkered and don't want to see a problem.
I think that's it. I think you're dead right. I think that's it. It's like with everything that's going on, it somehow filtered into our slice of the internet in its own way, where is no one can have a Discord or a discussion anymore, or just back and forth. It's no, shut up, and you get a bunch of hate. There's no way of debating in it. These people just don't know how to debate. It's like they get fucking triggered, they get hurt in their feelings, and all of a sudden you're getting bloody shit talking at you, and it's kind of like then that triggers you, and you're like, no, fuck you, and then just go off. And I'm seeing the community side of things just absolutely take a hit straight down. Like you say, like from the perspective of that. Like a prime example when this Casey Jones and Tupac came into the Walmarts, right, and everyone's on the hunt, and only a handful of people were finding them, and some were finding just the two, and I saw a little sliver of hope in the community where those people would buy both of them, but then the other one would be to help someone else out in the community, and like whoever, and I saw a lot of people doing that. They got two, but the other one was purely just to either to trade. The trading side, I don't. I have my feelings about that. It's kind of like, well, what you're asking for is like stupid. But if you're, general, same value, fine. I can't really argue against that.
And like I've picked up stuff for you. You've picked up stuff for me. Like that's what you do.
Exactly. And then, and I've seen people offer in the community. So like, I'm hunting. If I find two, can I help someone out? And I've seen loads of people put in their Instagram stories saying thanks to this person for for having it, because I still can't find them where I am. And it's like, good, you're helping out the community. It's what we're meant to do. It's going to be a while before every Walmart gets them, and I understand your frustration. And it's like, well, and now. But then I've seen quite a few posts where 4 have gone on the shelf. They've bought all 4, shown all 4 off, and been like, haha, look what I've got. I've got all 4, and then nothing else. And it's kind of like, you absolute bastard. You couldn't have left a couple behind for someone else.
Yeah. And they're all going on eBay.
Yes, absolutely. And what I'm also seeing, as I saw a horror story from someone else, is that these employees are getting clued up to what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not only withholding the stock, saying, "Oh no, it's not in," or we don't have any. They're actually, apparently, I saw someone. He brought a Turtles Tour mutagen set to the till, to the counter, to the register, and the lady said, "Are you going to flip this?" And this story he put up, and he said, "No, I'm a collector. This is for me." And he goes, "Well, do you know how much these are going for on eBay?" So it's kind of like even the store employees are in on it. And obviously, they know people. They're going to just withhold from other people. They're going to try and supply their friends, or going to buy them themselves and stick them on eBay because they can flip it.
This is it.
And it's fucking awful. I mean, the prime example is what happened with the. I have no idea about how these bots are working. I guess with everyone being on lockdown, computer wizards have got clued up and have. Assembled a bunch of bloody mouses online and just going in and just found a way of beating the system and cleaning house. That's why everything's selling out the moment it goes up.
Yeah, and it's killing it. Mm-hmm. It's honestly from enjoying picking things up, and now the stress of am I going to be able to get this?
Yeah.
At some point. It has to just be, do I really want to be stressed about getting this? Like, do I care enough about this to get worked up? Or do I just not bother?
Exactly. I like you. I'm seeing the light die in so many collectors' eyes in these, just from what they're saying. And it's sad to see. It's sad to see it. And it's sad. It's also relatable because it's happening with us too. We've got too much other shit going on. We've got fucking, our own problems to deal with in this thing called life at the moment. 2020 just needs to fucking end already. And
it's just a clusterfuck of a year.
Yeah, we don't need another level of stress worrying about our escapism, and our hobbies, the things we enjoy, what's getting us through this shit. And now we've got a whole nother headache with it too. And it's kind of like, is it fucking worth it?
Yeah.
Instead of worrying about fucking trying to hammer the refresh button on a page, can I just kick back with my missus and watch a movie or something and just chill and not worry about it? And will I get out the game entirely, or I'll find it at some point down the line and I'll just add it to a grail list and just not worry about it right now?
That's it, because it's now you're at the point of, especially at the minute, a lot of people aren't working or working limited hours, not as much money going around. But because of the way collecting is going now, it's got you either get it straight away or you don't get it.
Yeah.
Like, because the only other option is to not get it now, and then in 3 months' time, when you finally got enough money to get it, discovering that you now need 4 times the amount of money to get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Like, it's just wrong nowadays.
Yeah.
And I'm in general, I know rarity value things go up. Like, that's life.
Yeah.
But a lot of these things shouldn't have rarity value. These things have only got rarity value is because people are buying them up to make them rare.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah, exactly. They're not, they're becoming limited because they're all getting just taken up and flogged on eBay for twice the price, knowing that you can't get them in stores now, and the only way to get them if you want it now, which seems to be the bug, is to pay double the price. And that's double the price, and you're probably going to have a bill come through the next day for something else, and you now don't have the money for that because you just fucking handed it to a scalper.
Yeah. Because in the day, like, the Casey Jones 2-pack isn't fucking rare.
No.
The fact of the matter is, you can't get it because the twat before you went in and bought 4 of them.
Yeah.
And the twat before him went in and bought 4 of them.
Yeah.
So instead of 8 people being able to get it, 2 people have it. The other 6 people can't get it. And then the eBay prices get inflated because it's rare.
Yeah.
It's not rare. It's just been scalped.
Yeah, exactly.
It shouldn't be rare.
No.
It's been forced into rareness, and that's the sort of shit that is killing the community.
Yeah, and these superstores that are selling the shit do not give a flying toss.
No.
They could buy just as much. If it ain't the scalpers, it's the staff. And if it ain't the staff, then then they're trying to point the blame. And like you say, and for me, all I can see is that NECA are trying to do all they can to rectify it. They seem to have recognised their mistake, and they're doing it quickly. They're making changes as quickly, in amongst all this crap going on, in amongst how many delays has been put on for production and shit because of COVID. And they're still doing the best they can, from what I can see, to try and rectify these mistakes that are happening. These speed bumps that come out of the blue that they didn't foresee. And they're doing their best to try and resolve it, and resolve shit that they didn't, that was already happened, and try and make sure it doesn't happen again with future stuff. But yeah, Hasbro have pretty much, I don't know, I haven't heard a whisper out of Hasbro regarding their issue with the bots and their G.I. Joe stuff. But visually, from what I can see, NECA seems to be the only one that's actually trying to get a handle on the situation. They've recognised it. Which is more than what any other company I've seen doing.
Yeah, at the minute, like, Mezco are starting to take steps with their exclusives, for example, used to sell out in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And the last few have been up for a certain amount of time. Almost like, especially Nosferatu was up for a set time. They basically, like NECA have done. You've got until this point to order it. And after that, you can't order it, which gives you at least a fair chance of getting on there and getting it.
Yeah.
The same with the Tucker and Reza set has been up. That's been a week, hasn't it? I think they've had that up.
Absolutely,
like,
and it's
7 days.
Yeah, and it smashed pre-order sales more than what they would sell in. I saw someone put up the figures, and so their whole format for that pre-order system that they put in place and test run with Token Raza is, by the looks of things, been a roaring success. And that was plenty of time for everyone that they were going to ship to overseas and domestically. And obviously, I know maybe people didn't have the money in that week. I get it. But they gave you a time. No sellouts. You order as many as you're obviously limited to, but you had plenty of time. There was no worry of selling out because they had control, and they wouldn't. Then they take how many pre-orders they need, and they know the system, and then they go and fulfill that many orders, rather than having all the limited amount of stock ready to go, and that's it. Bam, bots have taken all of it. And,
because I mean, it's just the most sensible course of action. Because, like, I know a lot of people say, well, they should put more in the shops, which, yeah, that is an option. Yeah. Like, you could flood the store with your product.
Yeah.
But you've got to convince the store that that product will sell.
Yeah, and then, of course, the store themselves decide how many they want to order.
So you can't put 50 2-packs in the store if the store doesn't think they're going to sell 50 2-packs. Like, you produce it to a point of what the stores will take.
Yeah.
And that's about as good as you can do. So at least this way, there's no worry about that because they are the store. They're making the product and selling the product. There's no middleman.
Nope.
And it's just done.
Yep.
And
exactly.
It's an easy way of doing it. And I think a lot of companies are probably going to be looking at this sort of thing in the future.
Yeah,
between that
right.
and the Kickstarter programs that
absolutely
Hasbro have been doing, and now McFarlane have done with Spawn. I wouldn't be surprised. I was thinking that NECA might have done it with the Jaws, with the shark.
Yeah, still no
that they
word,
teased.
Because they say it might, because obviously they only get like they're given a section, aren't they, in their store, and they can like, they even said like some products are just too big to fit on the shelves. They only have a certain amount of space, and obviously Jaws will be a big figure. So I think they're going to do a Kickstarter for the diorama and speciality online stores.
I'm just wondering whether now they've seen the success they've had with this, whether they can just do it again with like Bruce the shark. They'll just put a week pre-order up, and see how many orders they get. Now the difference is obviously with the shark is it's slightly more niche, and obviously you need to sell a certain amount before it can be made because you need to make enough money to make it.
Yeah.
So a Kickstarter might be the more sensible route for that because you've secured your funding before you make it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think when it comes to turtle stuff, I don't think they need to worry about going down that road anymore.
No.
Like the diorama sets, they know they're going to sell. They've sold already.
Yeah.
Really well. So I don't think they've got an issue there. If they want to start making vehicles, like the turtle van and whatnot, the market's there.
Yeah.
Like they could either Kickstarter it or do their own sales, and they're not having to worry about how much space there is on stores.
No, exactly.
Because again, like if the truck was popular, you're not going to be able to have 30 of those in a store because there isn't the physical space to have them.
No.
Whereas if you've just got them in a warehouse and you're shipping them yourself, that's not the issue. Exactly.
And I think a lot of toy companies might start ending their partnerships with some of this. Just, I mean, I know Toys R Us killed it was a blow for a lot of companies, so they had to go and find other alternatives. That's why even Randy said the reason why they cut their deal with GameStop because they weren't great to do business with, and I think they're starting to realise that Walmart and Target aren't as great either if they're trying to do all they can to try and gain back some control over their stock and their product.
Yeah, and I think they're trying to gain back the trust.
Yeah.
More than anything.
Yeah.
And I think that's the route that a lot of companies need to go now.
Yeah.
Because we have lost a lot of faith in them.
We have, yeah.
And that's not helping with the general feeling of losing faith in the whole thing. You know, the whole collecting side of things is just losing its appeal.
Yeah.
At least try and bring that back.
Yeah. They got some bridges to start rebuilding, and I think you might see it with these different programs, like obviously with Kickstarters and stuff, trialing them out. They are working, they are successful. It's just if it's easy to get, exclusives to get, exclusive. We know the game with exclusives, they're always going to, it's always going to be a race to try and get one. But with stuff that should just going out as regular product, then that too shouldn't fall under the same balcony of being as difficult to get as a bloody exclusive.
Exactly. Because, like, going back on the G.I. Joes, the Wave 3, the Cobra Island,
Yeah.
with the Trooper and the Baroness, I think that was up for about 14 seconds when it first went up.
Yeah.
And then, lo and behold, eBay, plenty of them. So, it's
just instantaneous.
Yeah, when it's hard to get, like, when it's products that people really want,
yeah,
and are deprived of getting, is when it starts, like, causing a lot of rifts.
Yeah, I agree. Entirely.
I mean, NECA-wise, we've been fairly lucky in the UK compared to America.
I feel, this is, I'm in a sorry but not #sorry not sorry state of mind with it. And I sort of, obviously we've had the conversation a few times, but with this latest bit of news, it's kind of like, man, that's a kick in the nuts. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't care, because this is a time where the UK could not get their hands on anything NECA because they just weren't allowed to ship over here. There was a time where a lot of America couldn't get their hands on the Turtle stuff because it was only exclusive to conventions. And now, obviously, going retail, making it available for everyone, great. Sure, that might decrease, the joy of gaining an exclusive and having it only be an exclusive. But at the end of the day, there's some products where if you're a fan of something, you should have the opportunity to have that thing, and then expanding the market so that we could receive them outside the UK. And remember that the UK does not have that many walk-in shops where you can go and hunt for figures that will sell a lot of these products. We have one chain, and that's Forbidden Planet, and they're not everywhere. We won't find them in our local supermarkets, so we don't have that luxury of going on the hunt all the time. So a lot of our market is solely based online, and it's driven up the competition for other online retailers here in UK to pop up and start selling at a competitive price, and that makes it fun. We don't have the luxury of choosing the best paint job, so we've got to make do with whatever kind of paint job we get that comes through the door. But now it's it's almost like NECA are favouring the international market a wee bit too much. And that's the thing where I say I'm in that sorry not sorry phase, where it's like a lot of America were finding it hard to try and get, like, for instance, the big sort of made it obvious was the KCM RAV 2 pack, where the pre-orders, we got our pre-orders here for our UK online retailers months ago, and it was easy.
Yeah.
We got our pre-order in, and we can sit back and relax. Granted, we're going to get ours a few months later before they hit our shores, and then they go, obviously, a Walmart exclusive in America. So I feel bad that obviously they're exclusive to one store and you've got to hunt for it, whereas we get to just pre-order, sit back and relax. But now, then putting a select few on your NECA store for international only, which is where I already got my UK pre-orders in, and that's why when I saw that Randy had done that on Twitter, and I just hopped over, saw they were there, checked the exchange rate, saw that it was nearly $2 to the pound, and put it in my cart and bought it without a single problem, purely to experiment on the fact of whether it would get to me sooner than waiting for my UK release. Purely experimental. I even hesitated before I did it. I was like, I don't want to spend the money again. Ah, fuck it. It's in the bank. I've got some expendable cash. Let's just try it. But having that market solely for UK, just that little pocket of stock. And then for this news now, where obviously they've made Token Raza a NECA store exclusive for everyone. Great. That was all, I didn't need them to be here, to be in UK. If this was the only way to get them, then fine. And they've made it easy for everyone to get them. Especially as it would be cheaper to buy from them, even with the bloody customs fees, if we do get one, which so far is they've proven not to have one, than what they would be priced at here in the UK. And now, where a lot of people, and this is where my rant comes in, it's like, fair play, I don't know, your kicking and screaming seem to have worked, because NECA have been responding to people's DMs. A lot of people in the UK are complaining that they couldn't get it here retail, rather than having to think they're going to be spending double buying it from the NECA store with customs and shit. And they went off and they had some stupid arguments. Oh, shit, they couldn't prove. Now, we're providing them with all the China reassurances we can. and they're just slapping it down as if they're right and they know better, and it fucks me right off. And it's like, no, just do your fucking homework. Stop being ignorant, man. And then I see them DMing NECA themselves, going off. And it's like, you just fucking don't stop fucking going off like you're a fucking sport little child throwing your chair. There's a respectful way of complaining. And I'm seeing some of these screenshots of these DMs, but then they're coming back and saying that Token Raza some point down the line will be made available retail for international markets. I'm like, okay, but you just for international only, so the only way in the US to get them is through the NECA store. And I have no idea if these are going to go up again, but it's kind of like, man alive, we are getting spoiled over here. And at the same time, I'm feeling the nut punch that is the US for this. And at the same time, I'm like, yeah, well, there was, this is, it's almost like reparations if there's a bad word to say right now. They're kind of like, it's our time now. It's our time. Sorry, but not sorry. We struggled for years not having anything. And now, yeah, I'm kind of enjoying the favoritism a little bit. Let me enjoy it. And even to the point where America have actually started to dive onto our UK sites and buy them from them, just because it's an easier way of getting them than trying to hunt them in stores. And I get it. Not everyone wants to go out and mince all this shit with all the riots and COVID and all the crap, all the craziness. Toy hunting right now could probably be a very scary thing out there, depending on where you are. So yeah, that's where I am. I'm the sorry not sorry kind of rock and hard place when it comes to what seems to be NECA's favoritism of the international market right now, with turtles specifically.
I mean, I don't know how much of it was tied into their license of being able to do it.
Yeah.
I know, obviously, since Nickelodeon took over, the license eased up a hell of a lot. Mm-hmm. Compared to how it was before, but
yeah, man,
I don't know how much. Yeah, but obviously with Nickelodeon taking over, I assume at some point between Nickelodeon taking over and NECA getting more control, the rights must have come up for another renewal with Playmates, and something's happened during that where they've eased it up to let NECA do a little bit more with it.
Absolutely. You can see how highly we love the franchise, and within that franchise is the best live action movie, and how much we adore that just on its own, and how much there's a fan base for it. And I think it was a no-brainer to expand the market.
Exactly. I mean, Nickelodeon must have looked at it in the fact that Playmates, I mean, they make great toys. Mm-hmm. Like, my kid had all of the 2012 Turtles toys, like all of them, and they were fantastic for toys, for kids to play with. You can't beat them, but they're not adult collectibles.
No.
So Nickelodeon must have looked at it and seen that there's a whole market that they're missing out on that Playmates can't fill.
Yeah.
And have just let NECA go wild with it now.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the thing. You're seeing toy companies now cater more and more for the adult collector, as the adult collecting span is constantly growing and growing and growing in popularity. Or I think a lot of dare I say it, because I'm a single man, a lot of wives and girlfriends or partners are starting to ease up on a lot of their partners' vices and hobbies to be like and a lot of the ladies are getting into the fandom as well and doing their own thing with it.
But it's a lot more socially acceptable now than it was even when I first started.
Yeah,
like
a lot
of collectors wouldn't talk about collecting with other people that weren't collectors. That's when you were in the community, because at the end of the day, you're a grown man collecting toys or a grown woman collecting toys.
Yeah.
But now, especially since the Marvel movies and things like that, it's never been more socially acceptable to be a geek.
Exactly. This is our time. If you're not a geek, you're not cool. So, back then, it was more of a support group than it was a community, and of course now as it's become now we're dominating a lot of the entertainment market. It revolves around us voting with our wallet, and we'll pay for the product that's good, and we know we'll happily pay for it, and it's just supply and demand. And
exactly. I mean, they've hit the sweet point now, especially with Turtles. We've gone on a massive Turtles rant, but we may as well stick with it for now. Yeah. But they're at the sweet spot of the people like us that were watching that film when it came out are the sort of people now that are in a comfortable enough financial position in life to be able to justify buying these collectibles.
Absolutely.
So they've hit the sweet spot of it.
Yeah.
Where we can afford to buy these premium collectibles for the line, and they just can't get them out fast enough now.
No, exactly. You know, at a nice enough price point that's not so much over what you would pay for a figure for your kid, like a Marvel Legend, the £20 to £30 mark. It's like beautiful little sweet spot, and you've given us stuff that we would have killed for as a kid, and now you're hitting us home with the nostalgia in our own backyard. You know, you're sort of like, hey, have you seen this? Here's the Turtles figure that you always wanted and never could have, and you know you want it now. And just it's like fucking opening up. I don't know. It's just like them just waving in our face. It's like you know, if you're a foodaholic and someone's waving a cupcake in your face, and you're staring at it because you can't not look at it, and it's like, yes, I'll have it, until the moment you grab it because you're just giving in. And it's like, yes, that's a sweet spot. You've got us with it.
And the Turtles are one of those universal fandoms where even people I know that don't have no interest in figures or even comic books or any of that will look at the Turtles and think, oh, they're cool.
Yeah.
Because it takes them back to that specific point of their childhood.
Yeah.
So
another reason why we've made, we know our conversation has been we've drawn back to the Turtles and talking about the Turtles is because it seems to be that NECA and the Turtles are setting the standard for what the community can be, what we will throw our money at, and you've always got a customer in us where you're giving us a decent price, you're giving us a highly detailed figure that looks great, can move great, it hits that nostalgia point, and now perfect example where it's got also hit with becoming difficult to get hold of, and we're seeing the company that makes these take steps to try and make that better once again for what's going on right now, trying to counter and fight back whatever the fuck's gone on this year. And it's like NECA themselves and the Turtles line themselves are both setting the standard for pretty much how we would like everything, all companies and all figures to be, you know.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's like why Doc Brown was constantly drawn to the year of 1955 and Back to the Future. It's just that one pivotal point in history, and it's kind of like this is the one toy line and the one company that are doing it that are showing you all up how to do it. And when shit goes wrong, this is how you bloody try and fight it. And you're going to get your bunch of stands and your bunch of haters and a bunch that are going to kick screaming in there because they've got nothing better to do. And you know, arguing on the internet has never been more rife than it is now. But at least NECA are taking it at face value. You know, you can see on some interviews that Randy, you know, he's like, yeah, calm down, guys. You know, we're doing all we can, you know. But they are, instead of fucking, you know, sticking a middle finger up at us like bloody what a lot of these other, especially import suppliers like Nippon Yasin being dicks, and just treating the customers with respect. And that's what I'm seeing a lot with now, especially in other industries like the comic book industry, the movie industry. A lot of these creators are treating their fans like absolute shit, and it's like, we will vote with our wallet. You treat us like shit or put out a bad product, we will go somewhere else. You're going to have your stands that we're going to end up fighting with, trying to defend you, but we will go somewhere else. And Mezco, especially with that John Wick, we want to change the subject, is another point of that. You know, there's a lot of people that complained about that figure, and a lot of people came to its defense, and there was a big old bloody civil war in the community online about that figure. And it's just one of those things again. You know, if you treat the customer as a stupid idiot and take advantage, we're going to notice, we're going to complain, and you know, some will stick by us, some will take away, and we'll put our money elsewhere. And for me in Mezco, thankfully, there's, you know, after I get Keaton Batman and Reeves Superman, I pretty much think I'm done with anything new Mezco, because not only is there nothing that they've got coming down the pipeline of interest to me, even exclusives, I really am sick and tired of the way they treat the customers. Now, they've done all right with exclusives, putting more out, but like for that John Wick, for instance, they had all that time and delay to try and just tweak it with the suit. You know, it's always a hit and miss with their head sculpts. But we're paying all that money to still get what could have been a fantastic figure, and just to be giving us a half-ass figure, like you say, with the buck issue. You know, again, he should have been put on the buck that they used for Blade. That was a fantastic buck with great articulation and worked well with cloth goods. There's a suit that looks great with the Gomez, the first Gomez they put out. You had all these elements, and you could have made the best John Wick figure on the market at 1/12 scale. And for us, a lot of us, they stuck the landing, and at that high price point. And it's kind of like, are they not going to bother trying to even attempt to rectify any of the things that we're complaining about? NECA is showing you how it's done, and I think, you know, I might get some, if I'm going to use a comic book term, getting back issues. Like if I see a good deal on an old Mezco that I quite fancy, then I might go for that. But in terms of anything new Mezco, I think after Reeves Superman and Keaton Batman, I'm done. I think I'm done with them as a company in general, to be honest. That's me personally. But yeah. Oh, Tom, you've mute your mic.
Oh, my bad. There we go. Batman-wise, I'll probably stick to a limited degree with Mezco because I like the setup. Like, I've got Two-Face is ordered and paid for already, so that's that. Yeah. I didn't go for KG Beast because it's not a character that interests me.
No, and it's like, take a picture, by looks of things, to have a KG Beast, I think the old multiverse, the one with the Alfred wave, I think that looked good enough to... Yeah. I'm not sure I don't own that figure, but it didn't need a Mezco treatment, I don't think.
No.
I don't think it was enough figure to have the Mezco treatment. No, I agree on the Batman. Look, you know, they seem to be, they've got their niche there. They seem to be doing well with every single turn. Yeah, so I'll stick with them. I mean, depending on what they do, say, obviously Two-Face, I'm still not sure on Mr. Freeze. I might get it, I might not. It kind of depends, and it also depends on something I'll bring up next. But we're going to just have to see what else they can. Like, if they bring out a penguin, I would probably have to bite the bullet and get a penguin, because I think that would be fantastic. I will backtrack and say, because obviously I'm relaying my opinion currently right now on from what we've seen that they've got coming down the pipeline, and that includes the new Fantastic 40s, that I won't get anything new Mezco. Now, if they somehow turn around tomorrow, like you say, if they fucking release a penguin, now if you would get their own comic book style penguin. For me, and I think you would agree as well, if they turn around and release their own version of Jack Nicholson Joker and Danny DeVito penguin from the movies, hell fucking yeah. So it's the Nicholson I would get in a fucking heartbeat. But I would now have the expectation that it's not going to be as good as I hope. Yeah. I think that's I think you nailed it on the head. I think you're right. If you sticking with Mezco, yeah, just by the sounds of things, sad to say, just don't get your hopes up. Yeah. And I've gone from being really hyped about the 89 Batman to now just being, it's probably going to just end up being one of those static posed figures on my shelf, not really getting touched. And if I want to do shooting and stuff, unless it's like close-up shots, I'll probably use the SHF. Yeah. You know, it's the Schrodinger's cat of, you don't know what's inside the box. Is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? Yeah. We just don't know until we open it. And then shame to have that little bit of worry now when it comes to the new, because there's a thing, the promotional shots will tell you one thing. I know this happens with a lot of companies, the promotional pics and prototypes look nothing, not always as good as what you find in product, but at least some do try. And it's the Mezco seems to be like, it's complete stark difference. Yeah, I mean, that's a Mafex level of difference for me. Yeah, exactly. Fucking Marvel Legends put out bloody better head sculpts than what Mafex have done. For years we've had Mafex where you see the promo image and you think, God, that looks good, and then you get it and you're like, what happened? Yeah, like, where did it all go wrong? Yeah. But with the new comic Batman, they seem to have gone the other way, because the unmasked head on that looks fantastic. Yeah.
And I mean, don't get me wrong. I ordered the Hush Superman.
Yeah.
And I was chatting to Craig Warwick about it.
Yeah.
Because we were saying it looks really good, but it's an unmasked head.
Yeah.
And that is not Mafex's strong point.
No.
But
paint, the skin tone, just a lot of the detail.
Yeah. But now with this new one, the new Batman, it looks like they might have finally started to turn the corner.
Yeah.
Certainly, at least with the comic ones, where you're not going for film accuracy. You're just going for a style.
Yeah.
And they seem to have been able to hit that perfectly with this. And compare it to, say, the Peter Parker head from the Spider-Man from last year.
Fuck's sake.
Which wasn't bad, but
no,
wasn't good.
No. He got the general look of Tom Holland, like his facial features. It's just he looked like someone who was dying. He's just so sickly. The paint application and just the lack of. That's where the details really shine. And like you say, that with the comic book stuff, there's a particular style. They may not have to include as many details, but they can hit it out, and they seem to be really doing well with Jim Lee stuff, like with the Hush stuff. I mean, even the Peter Parker head, with the comic book Spider-Man, again, was a style. Now, again, they could have, the paint apps could have been better, but they didn't have to focus too much on facial details because it weren't based on a real person. It was a style.
The Eddie Brock one could have been a little better as well.
They could have done.
Then the Miles one was quite good. So they just seem to be getting into their stride with it a bit more.
Their real test will be the Into the Spider-Verse stuff, because that's really stuff.
Yeah, and we've got that and Superman all coming within the next couple of months, so this will be interesting. That's their first real push into like the soft goods at this scale. Yeah, for the Spider-Verse stuff. So
Mezco needs more competition that are doing better.
And it'll just be interesting because it's Mafex, so you've always got that worry in the back of your head that it's going to fall apart.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see. Now they're getting their QC not perfect, but better.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see, have they taken this on too soon before they sorted out all their other problems?
Yeah.
So we'll find out soon enough.
We will. I know, sadly, I have to handle a Mafex like you would a Fabergé egg when you're trying to pose him up. Especially with us photographers who like to push articulation to get a good, photo for a pose rather than posing in a display. And obviously, your articulation needs to cater for both. But yeah, so it's.
I mean, that's why Spider-Man is now my go-to one is the Marvel Legends.
Yeah,
the new vintage wave one, because I haven't got the fear.
No.
There's no worry about it. I'm picking that up and bending it around and throwing it about the place. I'm not worried about it. Yeah. Whereas the Mafex, you're almost like doing it under surgical conditions,
Exactly. And it's kind of like, you can make the argument with Mafex and with Mezco how we're getting sick and tired of now having to worry of, is it going to be a pile of crap when we open the box or not? We have that same issue with Mafex all the time.
Yeah, but with Mafex, you're worried about opening the box and is it actually going to be in one piece in the box, or am I going to pick the body up and the legs are still in the box like he's some sort of fucking amputee now? It's just that worry, and they're not cheap figures.
No, they're not.
But they're getting better. I've got faith in their newer stuff.
The reason why a little bit more defense on Mafex is that they have, compared to what they used to be. What used to be like, there was more hits, there was more misses than hits, and the SHF were just spanking them left, right, and centre. And now it's gone on a complete 360, and they've still got some creases to iron out for sure, but they are getting better. They may drop the ball on one particular figure, but majority are as good as what we'd hoped. We just have to actually handle it a bit more fragile, with a bit more care. Especially with us toy photographers, we can get like rough housey with our. That's why Marvel Legends are kind of like the bread and butter, because we can handle them like those kids from Toy Story 3 where they just bash them around. Yeah, it's with the amount of what you push the articulation to get them in that pose that we want. Obviously, they can break and they can, but not just like that out of the box. You just have to move it and it would snap. But with and we get the temperature change in the dish sticks can make the plastic fragile and all this that. We get all of that, and Mafex being domestic company, Mezco even, it's kind of like why there's a bit more of a negative spotlight on the Mezco's, just from what we see in promotion to what we get end result. It's just it's just a bit of a gut punch, and then having to fucking fight defenders, stands. They're just willing to overlook all that shit and ignore it. And it's kind of like your post on one of the Mezco groups summed it up perfectly. It's like, yes, we get it. You're a lover of this brand, but even you have to admit that not every figure is perfect. You got to look at it. It's like, God, they really did not do a good job on this, and that's that's all we're trying to highlight. And yet somehow that's a crime to do so.
Yeah, because you're attacking their brand.
Yeah, and because of all this crap and the bloody fucking cancel culture crap, the go-to thing to do now is, oh, you're attacking me, rah, 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 rah. And it's just, the debates get too heated and too personal in comment section now.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, every company can make bad figures.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how much you love a line, if they make a bad figure, it's not taking your line away from you.
No.
By admitting this one isn't very good.
Yeah.
Every company makes bad figures.
Yeah.
Some, like Marvel Legends, makes more bad figures than any other line, purely because they make so many figures.
Yeah, they are absolute avid, 100%. They will buy every Marvel Legend going, and they have the most vocal complaint. Like these people will not stand for Marvel Legends. They will go up to them in conventions and get interviews and tell them to their face, "Your figures are shit. We want better." You know. And it's kind of like,
but this is the thing, is that by doing that, they've made it better.
Exactly.
If we hadn't complained about how bad Marvel Legends were at one point, do you think we would have that new Spider-Man?
Nope.
Or do you think we would have the same old shit?
Pinless technology, some the scanning, the printed faces to make the head sculpts look better.
Yeah. All this is because Hasbro listen to their fans.
Yeah.
Listen to what they want, and within a certain budget, have been trying to do what people want, and it's resulted in probably, for the money, the best figure line going.
Yeah.
For the amount of choice you've got of characters, for the price, you're not getting the most accessories. They're going to be a lot of reused bodies, but for £20, you're getting a pretty good figure. And that is because 5-6 years ago, when they were not particularly good figures, people were saying, these are shit. Sort it out.
Exactly.
Or we're not going to buy them.
And now everyone's become so sensitive. It's kind of like, it's there in the evidence. If they make changes, we're not attacking. We're just passionate. It's not fucking hate. We ain't starting hate groups. We ain't trying to cancel them. And it's kind of like, no, we're just passionate. We're pointing out the flaws. We're trying to offer some. We're not obviously the ones that are not making it. We're not the design engineers who know what they're capable of, what their budgets are, or what they can physically do. But they're doing what they can to provide a better product, and it's showing because we're still laying down our hard-earned cash to them, and the sales show, the popularity shows, the sellout show, and they wouldn't be doing what they could do if our money wasn't there to help fund what they do. And it's just a prime example of that. They're listening. We're going to buy their product. If it still needs some tweaks, we're going to be vocal about it. If they change it or not, they're going to make some changes here. They're going to keep us coming, because they're actually making changes to try and make a better product for us to buy. And we will vote with our wallets and buy what is a good product. And it's a prime example, again, in a completely different industry. But look what happened with that Sonic movie. When that trailer came out, everyone said, "Oh my God, what the hell is this?" The director came out on Twitter and said, "You know what, you guys, you're right. We will do better. We're going to delay the movie a little bit, but we're going to fix this and try and give you a better. We see it. We get you. We hear you." And look what happened. They made it look brilliant, and it's the most successful video game movie to come out. And the director, thanked everyone because we saw that he listened, and even though it weren't it was more of a kid movie. and that's fine. But even the diehard Sonic fans came out and supported that film and enjoyed it because the people who were making it listened and cared enough to make that change, and we supported it with our wallets.
That was a good film.
Yeah, I enjoyed
it's not
it.
an Oscar film, but it was a good film.
It was entertaining enough. I'm happy to watch a sequel any day of the week, and
exactly.
I'm glad.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and even if it found a movie to be like, oh, it wasn't as great as what I hoped, but I will still be glad of its success because it deserved to be. But for the people making it actually giving a damn about the customer, and if like, yeah, you deserve that success. You know, sadly it weren't for me, but all the best to you. I'm glad for you. And even if I had that opinion, I'd still be throwing my support at it, and I would still go watch a sequel to hope that the second one does enthrall me. But luckily, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm on board. And like I say, even if I wasn't, I would happily throw my praise and support at the people making it, because as someone who gives a shit, and you don't see that much these days in any industry of entertainment and escapism, and especially the comic book world right now, that's tanking hard. But and it's the same thing again with the toy industry and the distribution side of the toy industry. Our money is going to go where we feel that we can feel that people are caring, giving a damn, and where the product is better, we're going to shift our money over to there. And that's it, man. That's just it. And we're just getting harangued and labelled as, you're just hating all the haters, fuck the haters, I love this, I love that. It's like, you can voice your opinion all you like. Doesn't mean we're haters, we're just passionate. And half the shit is, again, revolves around this. It's just the internet. It's not real life.
Yeah.
Cry and scream
I'm hating. I will admit I'm a hater of this.
Yeah.
But I'm hating it because I love it. Mm-hmm. I love this shit. Like, exactly. I fucking live and breathe this shit. And when it's not good, I hate it. Exactly. It's that simple.
If we didn't love it, we wouldn't have an opinion on it.
Yeah.
It's like... Exactly. And it's just... Yeah. The train of thought... Well, not train of thought. It's just vocabulary is gone. I think I've just expended everything of what... you know what I mean?
Used all your words.
That's right, man. It's kind of like people complaining about other people complaining. It's like, oh, we'll stop bitching about that. It's like, well, you're bitching about me bitching. It's like, well, if you didn't give a shit about my opinion, then why are you up in my thread giving me shit for it? It's like, just have your own opinion and sort it out. People agree with you, disagree with you, it's fine. But it's just like, calm the fuck down, man. Let's just get back to debating Star Wars and Captain Marvel, for Christ's sake. And just,
I miss those days.
Yeah, so do I, mate. So I just, or who could be up who in a fight in the comic book world, just go back to those debates. They were fun.
Yeah. Could Batman beat Iron Man without any prep? That's always the Batman thing, the prep time.
And both of them had the weapon of throwing money at each other, and who had the more money, and just the fun.
Bring them back. But so, I mean, rant-wise with the toy industry, that's pretty much me. My only other problem at the minute isn't anyone's fault, but it's still a problem.
Yeah,
is COVID, which shut everything down.
Yeah.
Backed everything up, and now suddenly we're facing the prospect of everything coming out at the same time.
Yeah.
And as I was saying to you just before we started, this month already, and bear in mind we are, 7 days in?
Yeah.
And I've had the pre-orders come in and paid out for the White Knight Wave from McFarlane, the Mafex Batman, and the G.I. Joe Wave 1. And now my pre-order has come in for the Retro Wave Spider-Man. In 7 days. And it doesn't show any sign of slowing down.
No.
And it's no one's fault. It's the way it's gone.
Yeah,
and as much I personally would like to see the toy companies stagger it again. I know people want their shit. I want my shit straight away. Yeah. But there has to be a limit of how much you can do.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
I am facing the prospect at the minute of cancelling 3 or 4 pre-orders that I've got, purely because I've got another 5 or 6 pre-orders coming out at the same time, and there's only so much stuff I can pay for.
Yeah.
In one go.
Kind of have to
So,
prioritize what's an absolute, what can make the cut. And,
yeah.
Okay, for some reason at this point, our stream decided to stop recording right at this moment, and it was just after this moment that they actually really got into some really good stuff and started getting some positivity back, which is basically what these conversations are, these rants are meant to do. Really, is to just help you vent, and then you can start, get letting the positive back in and start rediscovering stuff. And we basically wrapped up the conversation about the pre-orders all dropping at the same time, and we started just spitballing ideas as to how we can get the joy back into collecting. It sort of just naturally flowed into that, which was great. It was such a great piece of conversation that it's just a shame that it didn't get recorded, but I wanted to go over the things that we talked about because I really do believe they were helpful at the time when we were bringing them up. It was eye-opening for me, and it's just something that I'm going to put to use myself. But basically we were just moving on into the things that we could do to sort of get that excitement back. And so I suggested, obviously because of the stress of the headaches that we're experiencing in being a collector, because that's all what we are as a core. All of us are all collectors, but what's saving us from jacking it all in at the moment is the fact that me and Tom are also, we're also toy photographers and customizers in terms of dios and figures. So that side of the hobby, thankfully, there's right now no drama in it in terms of the community, and the very love of doing those parts of the hobby as well is saving us in jacking in the collection, because once you're in this hobby itself overall as a collector, it can weigh on you. So if you yourself are just a collector, I can understand if you're feeling the stress too, that maybe just shifting focus might help in terms of getting that love back if you're feeling the love dying out at the same time. And of course for us, the art of photography and building and customizing is helping us just get through that, because that's a whole nother field, but it really does fulfill the love of collecting as well. It all filters back in, it all meshes into one at the end of the day. It's just exploring a different avenue within that hobby. And so Tom brought up the fact that what he's been really loving at the moment during all of this crap is he's building Gundam models, and just the fun of building them himself is just a complete focus shift from collecting figures and just displaying them, putting them together, and then also painting them. And it's not costing the earth in terms of money. They're quite cheap, and he's having so much fun just sitting there building. Nice sunny day, he's got his equipment set up, and once he's finished building, then he can spend time on painting them, get them all weathered up, and he's letting his creativity out that way. And then of course he can go in and take pictures of them. And it brought up the very point that if you're feeling like you just need to, what's a great idea is to just maybe shift the focus of collecting into and aim that spotlight into maybe the other part of the hobby, and get tinkering. And if you feel like I might be able to throw a lick of paint over this particular figure and it might look better, or if you fancy expanding your display with some backdrops, with a little dio piece to help showcase it. And maybe just buy a bit of foam, start carving into it, throw some paint on, and there's obviously looking at YouTube and maybe getting into some of the other aspects of the hobby with some dia building and a little bit of custom work. We all started somewhere, and that starting point was obviously collecting. But he hit a haymaker, which really landed. And I didn't think about it at the time whatsoever, and that is because those sort of things can obviously add up in money with materials, etc. That a simplest thing that you can do, and it's something that I'm going to do, and it didn't even occur to me, is that if you are just a collector and you're feeling this stress that you just don't need, is just take some figures out of your display and start posing them up. Freshen your display a bit more. If you've already got them posed, switch out the poses. If you want to practice on your posing or seeing how what kind of articulation range that figure has, start putting the figures through what they were meant to do. and Google some images, Google some comic covers, Google some comic panels, get a couple of characters and start sort of matching some similar poses and seeing if you can sort of recreate some action scenes or just something other than a vanilla stance. And yeah, just have some fun. Just take a figure out and just have a play, have a pose play. All right. And you know, you never know. Once you put that figure back in its newfound pose that you're happy with, the next time you look at your display and you get that little twinkle of excitement in your heart that makes you smile, and hopefully that can reignite your excitement as to why we love this hobby, because Lord knows we need it now more than ever. Okay, so something as simple as that can help ignite the excitement back into collecting again, and just a little simple thing like that. And that was pretty much it. We went into that, and we just sort of wrapped up the conversation there. So with that, I just want to thank everyone for listening to our rant. If you agree or even disagree with us, please let us know your perspective of how you're feeling about the collecting game right now this year down in the comments below, because we could use a fresh perspective. You know, a fresh perspective on something we may not have missed or may not have thought about in a certain way could help us relieve our stress of it. Be like, oh, never thought of it like that. So please, even if you do disagree with us, give us your perspective on how you feel about the collecting game right now, and drop it in the comments. Okay, and yeah, let's get some discourse coming again, and sharing some ideas and some opinions and views, and it could help each other out a lot. And that is all for now. Thanks again. That's all from us, I think. We'll definitely need a few beers over this weekend, but until then, I hope you guys have a great weekend, and until next time, Plastic Action out.